My name is Pete Sheck, and this is my staff development plan, final project. And I did mine for Berthoud High School, since that's where I teach. The data that I analyzed to look at what we need to look at to set our goals was I used the school performance framework and the Colorado growth model. And the things that kind of caught my attention on those two pieces of information were, first of all, on the performance framework. What is that? As I scroll down here, for our students with disabilities, they were not meeting the framework performance framework on reading or on writing. So those are two areas I thought we probably need to focus on. And then next was the Colorado growth model, and it'll take a second to load here. But when we get there, we're going to see that our growth, or our achievement and growth in math is probably not quite where we want it to be. And this was obviously for 2011. We're right here, and our achievement is right at the 50th percentile. But our growth, our adequate growth is 60, and our observed growth is only 52, so we fell a little bit short on that. So in the analysis of that, I thought those would probably be the two areas we would want to focus on. Also, in looking at the data, we looked at the CSAP scores over the last 3 years, and here they are listed out, as well as the growth data. And again, the math fell a little bit short as compared to the other areas in reading and writing for all students. So that's kind of where I focus my energies. And another piece of data that we're going to use is the harness data. I'm not going to show you that website because it doesn't always work all that well, and I don't want to wrestle with it here on my presentation. But the website's there, and you also have to have a login and stuff like that. But it helps because it allows you to identify specific students, and then you can also look at the specific concepts that those students are having difficulty with. And so individual teachers can look at those things and be able to and find strategies to address with those specific students. So in looking at that data, here's the two SMART goals that I came up with. 9th and 10th graders will increase their growth in math as measured by the Colorado growth model from the 52nd percentile to the 60th percentile, and show continuous growth through ongoing formative assessment during the 2011-2012 school year. And then SMART goal number 2 was that students with disabilities will increase their median growth percentile by 10 percentiles in reading and writing as measured by the Colorado growth model, while showing continuous growth through ongoing formative assessment by the 2013-2014 school year. The resources which I use, really the biggest thing I think I want to try to use to meet those goals is the expertise of my staff. And the use of PLCs. I'm going to kind of do that on a couple levels. First, I would want to create a math and reading and writing PLC, kind of get the experts in my building from those areas together and form PLCs with them, and have them start to research our areas of weakness and the things that are causing those areas of weakness, and develop some strategies and techniques that we can use as a whole staff to try to meet those weaknesses and overcome them. And then I would have them do staff development with the whole staff and present those strategies and techniques and how we can use them in all of our classrooms. At that point, then I would ask that the content areas form PLCs and use those PLCs to develop those strategies and figure out ways to use them within their own content areas, and also figure out ways of formative to use formative assessment to evaluate the effectiveness of those strategies. Also, along the terms of meeting our math goal, I would want to set up a math lab for students who, a lot of times students who are having difficulty in math classes, it's because they are just struggling with the fundamental skills involved in completing math problems. And so creating a math lab that would allow those students to go back and work on those skills and build those skills, and where we can then get them back into their regular math class and be able to be successful on those higher level math problems. I'd also think it would be very helpful if the PLCs, especially the math and the reading writing PLCs, conducted book studies on effective teaching strategies in their content areas. In terms of the outline factors, I think the important thing is to be able to communicate with one another. I know at the beginning of the school year this year, we held an in-service on generational differences, not just between teachers, but also teachers dealing with parents and students, and dealing with 3 different generations there sometimes. So communicating on those things and being aware of those differences, and understanding that they're not necessarily wrong, they're just differences that need to be dealt with and understood. And then clearly laying out the expectations of how we're going to conduct ourselves as a staff, and how we're going to approach professional development and the importance of it. And then being able to be tolerant of one another's differences and working together to meet those things, and whether it's individual needs or personal needs, as well as younger teachers versus older teachers, and then generational differences as well. And then in order to communicate my development plan, I would probably start with the superintendent and let him know what my plan was, and how I intended to carry it out. And then when the school year got started, address it with the teachers and kind of get their feedback on it. And probably that group of people that I would want in the math and reading writing PLCs, I probably would have sat down and talked with them. I would probably handpick people to be in those, people who I thought would be supportive of PLCs and building those strategies and those techniques. Those are the people that I meet with early on in putting this together. Then, letting parents know what we're trying to accomplish through this school year, and doing that, along with the community through newsletters and websites, as well as back to school night and parent night, those kind of things. I'd also want to meet with the school accountability committee and let them know our plans, along with the parent-teacher organization, and then meet with other administrators in our district to share our staff development plans and be able to collaborate with them on issues as well. And then my evaluation plan would lay out this way: that there'd be a pre-conference where teachers would complete pre-conference documentation. They'd create their teaching goals and make sure that their teaching goals would address the SMART goals and align with the SMART goals. And then during their observation, they'd have to submit a lesson plan prior to observation. I would observe the lesson and video record it. I would ask that the teacher watch and analyze the video prior to our post-conference of the observation. And then we would meet and analyze it together and look at the strengths, look at the weaknesses. A lot of times the teachers will be much more critical on themselves than the administrator would be. Identify areas of strength and areas that need improvement, and then compose a plan to meet the teacher's goals. That is my staff development plan, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.